Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Long-time lurker, first-time poster on /x/. I'm generally on /k/. A few years ago, we had Decoration Day up at the old family land, and I think I had a Bigfoot encounter maybe. Old Appalachian thing where it's kind of a family reunion, but we clean and decorate the graves, have a church service, and cookout all in the cemetery. Family cemetery in the mountains of North Carolina, close to the Tennessee border. On very old, American-wise, family land. And there are people from my family dating back to the early 1800s there, along with apparently a number of Cherokees somehow related to us. So here's the short and easy of it. Me and a couple of distant cousins decide to go camping up on a ridge overlooking the farm and cemetery one night, something we do every few years after decoration. Beautiful view with minimal light pollution. All armed because bears are common, and panthers aren't too uncommon to be seen. Everyone falls asleep, except me and a cousin. I'll call him Dale, because we're night shift. In the middle of a conversation, he stops, does a double take, and stares deadpan down the ridge at the cemetery. He squints and mutters, "What the fuck? I can't see shit, Captain.jpg. Anon, there's people in the graveyard. Jesus Christ, they're huge." Wake up the other three and decide to go investigate. It's a 3/4 mile hike down through the woods to get to the cemetery, and about 10 minutes into it, my hackles raise up. There's no cicadas, no owls or anything. I feel like I'm being watched. Start to smell something the closer we get to the graveyard. For any medical students, the closest I can compare it to is finding a dead fat guy decomposed in his trailer in mid-July and a basement mothballish mildewy smell. It's horrible. Everyone's on edge, but nothing happens the rest of the way down. Dale starts hyperventilating and pointing his SKS at the clearing way across the field behind the house. Something huge sprints fast as shit from behind one of the barns to the tree line, about 130 yards away, in seconds. Dale takes a few pot shots at the thing, and we hear this squalling kind of like a giant bobcat with his nuts in a vise. Another call similar sounds from behind us in the woods, adjacent to the cemetery. Fuck this .jpg. I'm so rattled at this point I just start running to the Jeep we rode down the holler in, and we all pile in. The dirt road into the land is about 2 miles of dirt roads, hugging the edge of a drop-off, and takes you to the main road at the top of the mountain. We're all armed and scared shitless all the way up the driveway, and make it out on the main road. Spend the rest of the night at Waffle House. It's anticlimactic, but it was terrifying.
My brother's an archaeologist, and he's always telling me about the sites he goes to. Honestly, archaeology bores me to death, but he recently shared a weird experience. We were both visiting our parents back home when it got late, and my folks decided to go to bed. So my brother and I left to grab some beers, and after a few, he told me this story. My brother goes to Greece a few years ago with some other archaeologists. They're supposed to excavate around a famous site that I've forgotten the name of. Supposed to. There were legal issues and some bureaucratic red tape. Nobody is allowed to dig. So picture this. Scorching hot day in the Mediterranean. A bunch of archaeologists sitting around with their thumbs up their asses, just waiting for the go-ahead so they can get to work. Brother decides, fuck this, goes off exploring on his own. After a while, he comes upon a little grove and is startled to see a man about his own age sitting down on some old ruins. Nobody else is supposed to be there. He's holding what looks like a large, pointed stone, well over a foot in length. Clearly an ancient artifact. Brother figures it's a local who's been illegally digging around the area. Hey? The man turns and looks at him for a long moment. Then he's gone. As in, my brother blinked and poof, the man disappeared. Holy shit, .gif. Brother inspects the ruins the man was sitting on. Feels a nice cold chill in the air. Spooky. He goes back to the others, asks the main archaeologist, "Hey, what's that stone formation out in the grove?" The guy's familiar with it, says it's probably nothing. But let's fucking dig it up because they're not letting us do anything here. It turns out to be a grave. Eureka. They keep digging and find a man's remains. He's buried with an assortment of beautiful relics. One of them is a stone dagger. Looks exactly like the stone item the strange man was holding before he disappeared.
My older cousin claims he saw elves a few years ago. At the time, he was living in Oregon and he liked to go out nature walking, enjoying the great outdoors. Cousin often takes a trail that leads to a small clearing with a little winding creek. Soft grass all along the sides. Cousin likes to sit there and watch the running water. As he's approaching, he sees something unusual. He pauses. There are spots all around the creek that are shimmering. You know when you light a fire and the air above it looks wavy. It's called refraction. He said it looked like a combination of that and something glittering. Puzzled. Cousin creeps closer, slowly, quietly, staying within the tree line. He has to take a slight bend in the path to avoid making noise, but he keeps his eyes on the shimmering spots the whole time. As he moves down the bend, the shimmering spots dissipate. In their place, he can see little men, about a dozen or so. Some are standing by the creek, some are in the water. Most are very young looking. One is very old. But they all look exactly like stereotypical elves from a kid's books. About 15 inches tall, long pointy ears. They're all wearing brown pants, the kind that fluff up at the knees, and little brown shirts. They're talking. Cousin can't understand the words, but it sounds like that Hinga Dinga Durgan Swedish meme. Then he notices. The old one, sitting off by himself on a little stone, he's watching my cousin. Oh shit. He looks pissed and he stands up. As soon as he does, the rest of the elves look over at my cousin. They scowl. A few of them yell things at him. Hinga dinga durgan.wav. They run into the bushes and disappear. Cousin waits a few minutes. Can't help himself, he walks over to the stone that the old one was sitting on. Takes it and leaves. He kept it for a while but said he had some weird activity at the house, so he went back and returned it. The weird activity stopped.
This is a second-hand account. My dad saw a weird wolf-like animal one night. Dad, around 18 years old, living in the basement. The windows look out above ground. Early dusk. Dad's home alone watching the news channel and sees that a huge storm is moving in his direction. He walks over to the windows to check it out. Staring right back at him is a bizarre animal. I'm going to try to describe this creature the way my dad did. It looks wolf-like in its face, but has a very large snout. Its open mouth reveals huge, razor-sharp teeth. It has what looks like little quills all around its head. Dad looks at its eyes. They're entirely black. Nope.jpg. Shuts the blinds and jumps into bed. Has trouble sleeping all night. Fast forward. The next morning, Dad checks the area outside his window. There's dead, discolored grass right where the animal was standing. This grass leads into the woods next to his house. Dad follows it. It leads him for some distance through the trees until he reaches a small clearing. The dead grass just stops right there. My dad's been dead for a couple of years now, or else I'd ask him for more details. He said that over the years the grass returned to normal.
Be Me 2014. Brand new EMT, emphasis on new. In a volunteer station, working my first paid shift and first time staying there at night by myself. The building's not especially old, but I've always felt uncomfortable downstairs. The downstairs part is just always cold. You don't necessarily feel like you aren't supposed to be there, but you absolutely feel like someone's following you around. You instinctively look over your shoulder going up the stairs because that feeling gets intense every time. One of the training mannequins, Rescue Randy or whatever, also happens to be on an old school stretcher beneath one of the cameras. The security camera feed on the wall mounted TV shifts to grayscale at night. About 3 a.m. I come in from a smoke and am fucking around on my phone when some movement catches my eye. The door to the basement is opening. It opens about 6 inches or so, then shuts just as slowly. Look at the camera to see if anyone had come in through the downstairs, as it happens often. Rescue Randy is staring straight into the camera, googly eyes all reflective. Tactical Shart.mp3. I leave in the primary truck and just chill around the center of the district until shift change. Apparently, according to some older folks, it's the first chief, but he doesn't mean any harm. Also, there's a video of one of the roller doors on a truck flying open, and a searchlight coming off of its dock falling onto the floor and cutting on. I'll post a WebM if I can get a hold of it sometime. Pic related is similar to that bastard Rescue Randy, except ours has reflective googly eyes and is in an old extrication jumpsuit. Be Me a few years later. Paramedic now, but still work there. Get a call for a search in the woods behind some house in the sticks. An old man that lived there left an hero note. Said we could find him in the woods out back. 40+ acres of woods. At 3 a.m. in the fucking winter rain. Grab my light and bag, turn the radio to the TAC channel we were all on, and start trudging through the underbrush. My partner and I are a few yards apart, and about 40 minutes into the search, a firefighter from one of the departments there calls in that they found him, about 350-ish yards away from us. About halfway there, we hear someone scream and start saying, "Fuck that, fuck that, fuck that," really loud. Too spooky for me. Get there. The guy hung himself from a tree at a small clearing. Eyes open and bulging, elongated neck. Face looks weird because the extension cable is right under his chin. Liver mortis apparent. The rain picks up, the medical examiner comes in and clears us. Come back to the staging area to leave, and the FF that hollered is smoking, visibly agitated. Anon, what the fuck were you hollering about? We've ran hangings before. This dude looks me dead in the eyes and says his eyes were closed and his face was pointing up when Anon and I found him. I turned away and turned back and the fucker was staring right at me. Puckered asshole.mp4.
My personal story could be explainable, I don't know. Be me, probably 8. One of the first times I'm ever home alone. Have a sister, 13 at the time. We live in a really old 2-story house, built around about 1890. Going upstairs, there's my room on your direct right, a guest room beside mine down the hallway, and my sister's room across the hall. Anyway, I'm going upstairs to get something. I don't remember what, from my room. About halfway up the stairs, I hear the drawers of my sister's dresser opening and closing. Just freeze. Look between the railings to see into her room. Can see the dresser, but the drawers start slamming. Get louder. Sprint downstairs and hide with my pupper for protection. Parents get home about 9. Confirm that no one was home. Don't tell them what happened. I have a few more little stories like this. Can tell if you want. This one's about some spooky shit in the woods while hunting. Be me, probably 11. With Grandpa, around 65 years old, on the top of a mountain in my area, Appalachians, hunting. about 5:45 a.m., going into the woods to find a good vantage of the valley before sunup. About half a mile in, we hear the most fucked up scream I've ever heard. Sounds like a woman, owl, fox, and cat all rolled into one. I've Googled fox, owl, bobcat, and mountain lion calls. It's not any of them, but it has similar elements to all. Look at Grandpa, old hard-ass factory worker. He looks genuinely concerned. We don't talk about it, just keep going. Hear the same noise about 2 hours later. The woods were completely dead the entire day, which is very strange for the area. We leave. I ask Grandpa what it was, and he just says he doesn't know, but is clearly spooked. Sorry, it's kinda anticlimactic, but it's 100% true and it freaked me out hard. I have one about the house, we'll reply with them. Okay, this sounds fake, but me and my friend have the same memory of what happened. Be me, still maybe 10. Best friend is over, same age, basically my brother, still is to this day. Anyway, in the room from story 1, my old bedroom, there was a smaller door that led to the attic, maybe 4.5 feet high, have to crouch to get in. We obviously assume there's monsters in there because we are dumb kids and avoid going there like the plague. My dad tells us to go get something random in there, setting us up because he knows we're scared of it. We both want to be little tough guys, so we go in and act like it's nothing. Both quietly shitting bricks. But in this attic was a tub full of my sister's old dolls from when she was young. There's a little wooden high chair with a doll still in it from the last time she played, which creeped both of us out so our eyes were on it. Dad, being the awesome dad he is, slams the door and turns out the lights to spook us. We both remember the last thing we saw as the doll, with its head turned toward the door. We're about halfway in, past the doll already. We scream like bitches. After a second, Dad turns the light back on. The doll is looking right at us. Me and Matt both saw it. It went from looking at the door to us. We get the fuck out and tell Dad what happened. He obviously didn't believe us. To this day, over 8 years later, me and Matt still talk about it and still have the same exact memory of what happened. Again, I know it sounds like some shitty story, but I swear it is true.
Not really spooky, but it scared me when it happened. My mom used to be a nanny. Looked after this little rich kid named Lucas. Kinda spoiled, but not a bad kid. One year I spent practically the whole summer at his house with my mom. She couldn't afford daycare. It was great, actually. Lucas had all the newest stuff, video games, toys, even an iPad, back when they were new. We spent hours just playing games. One day Lucas wants to go swimming. He has a giant backyard pool with a water slide. Poggers pp.jpg. Lucas and I slide down and swim for hours. There's also a short diving board, but Lucas was afraid to jump off of it. I dove a few times and called him a chicken. A little while later, Mom says it's time for us to go. Let's swim again tomorrow, Lucas says. Okay. Next day. Grabbing my swimming trunks, ready to slide and dive. Mom gets a phone call from Lucas's mom. Sorry, but I had to leave early today. I locked the front door. Just go around back. I left a key under the mat. Fast forward. We pull up to their big-ass house and walk around back. The pool is already calling my name. It's sparkling in the morning sun. Mom is unlocking the door. I notice something over by the diving board. Hey, Mom, what's that? I point. She walks over, starts screaming. Oh, shit. She's calling 911 and telling me to keep away from it. While she's distracted, I run over to look. Stay away, Anon! I hear her scream. Too late, I've seen him. It's Lucas lying on the ground, looking pale. He's all wet, hair still dripping water. Blood all around the back of his head. Eyes wide open. I start to cry and Mom pulls me away. He was dead before the ambulance pulled up. I always thought he was a spoiled brat, but seeing him dead was terrible. I kept thinking of how I kept laughing at him and calling him chicken for not diving. I feel responsible for his death to this day.
Be 2018-ish, live in Newfoundland, southwest coast. My buddy asks me to give him a lift to Deer Lake to catch a flight to work. Sure, no problem, man. Could use a nice 5-hour drive on the highway. K, we leave at 1 a.m. Even better, I love me some late-night drives. Plus, a few hours alone with myself on the way home is always nice. Driving and vibing, about an hour and change in. Nearest house is dozens of kilometers in any given direction. Literally middle of nowhere. High beams light up a highway sign. See a figure crouched and squatting down under the sign. He's just staring at us as we drive past. The most intense stare. No bags or luggage. Not even a grocery bag to carry anything. What the fuck, man? Get the heebie-jeebies. Rest of the drive was uneventful. The guy wasn't there on the return drive home.
Y'all ever hear of haunted wells? Tex and Anon here. My mom told me this story. It ain't much, I'll be honest, but it kinda spooked me the way she told it. Never shared it before, but if anyone will appreciate it, /x/will. Young parents finally ready to buy a house. Idyllic home in the country. Live oaks with their thick, low branches brushing the tall grass out in the yard. Plenty of room for our boy to run around when he gets older, honey. Feels good, man. .jpg. They move in. Out back there's an old well. It's kind of falling apart, but parents think it makes the place look rustic and picturesque. First night, Mom has a dream about the well. There's a huge bird sitting on it, talking to her. She wakes up. Can't remember what the bird said. Oh well, who cares? Second night, Mom has the same dream. Wakes up and remembers the bird asking for something, but can't remember what exactly. Later, Mom goes to the store. An old lady approaches her. Did you move into the house with the old well? Why, yes, I did, ma'am. Did you used to live there? The old lady looks nervous. My son moved in there a few years back. Turns out her son kept having weird dreams. Take a wild guess what they were about. Mom gets weirded out, tells the lady she has to go. I know I sound crazy, but there's something living on that property. Thank you, crazy lady. Mom leaves. That night, the same dream. This time the well is full to the brim with water. Mom walks over and looks in. Sees an image of my crib, but I'm not in it. Just a pile of little bones. Mom looks up at the bird. It's her. She wakes up drenched in sweat, rushes over to check on me. I'm asleep. A sudden loud noise. Mom looks out the window. The live oak right outside is covered in grackles. They're all screeching. Dad wakes up from the noise, grabs his gun, and fires a couple of shots outside. The birds scatter. They go to bed, and Mom has no strange dreams. The next day, Mom tells my dad about the strange coincidences. The dreams, the birds, the old lady. Dad shrugs it off. You're just being dramatic. That night, the dream changes. There's no bird, just the well. It begins to flood over, soaking the grass and Mom's feet. She looks down. It's a black liquid. Mom turns around to run away and sees the house. It's covered in birds. Mom wakes up. Dad is shouting and she hears flapping noises. The grackles got into the room somehow. They look like they're trying to get to my crib. Dad is shooing them away, swinging at them with a shirt. Mom scoops me up and runs to another room, slams the door behind her, hears Dad scream, and a minute later, some gunshots. Dad opens the door where Mom is and tells her to grab her things. He's covered in cuts and bleeding quite a bit. We're getting a motel tonight. They hurry out to the car. The live oaks are covered in birds. Every single one, every branch lined with them. They're completely silent. Mom and Dad get the hell out of there. Mom said after that, Dad decided sending a priest in couldn't hurt. The guy blessed the place, and then Dad knocked down the well and filled it in with dirt. Mom says she isn't sure, but she thinks Dad saw something weird that night while she was hiding in the room. He refused to talk about it at all and told her never to bring it up again. Then she told me, "Cake."
Since I live in Newfoundland, I have tons of nope stories. This place is fucking spooky as hell if you get yourself in the right place at the right time. And the main highway, Highway 1 Trans-Canada Highway, is usually just a whole lot of nothing, passing through barrens, forests, etc., with few settlements actually on the stretch of highway. Me and my girlfriend driving from Port aux Basques to Corner Brook. 2.5 hours of fuck all in between, aside from the scattered small community or a truck stop and motel some distance from each other about halfway. Again, about an hour into the drive. Nearest settlement or house would be dozens of kilometers in either direction. Hardly even any cell phone service. It's so far in between areas, it's like 2, maybe 2:30 a.m. See a glow in the brush off to the side of the road. What the fuck? Slow down a little as we approach, look over as we pass. Random fucking guy just standing there in the grass. Instant flashbacks to the spooky dude under the sign. Guy has what looks like a very bright light, or a floodlight illuminating him from the ground up. Extra spooked. Floor it, and the rest of the drive was uneventful. Except almost hitting a coyote in the middle of the highway about an hour later. We still talk about it from time to time. What the fuck is up with these people?
This was about a year or so ago. My bud and I went camping in northern Michigan, not the Upper Peninsula. Gotta make that distinction, or else the Yoopers will come for me. Also, first Greentext I don't really post often. Sorry if shit. We're in the middle of a state park, just looking for a spot to camp that looks nice enough. This area looks promising. Park the car off the road a bit, then go on foot about 200 feet from the car or so. Find a small clearing. Have to crush down some twigs and move some bigger young trees, but good spot. Can just barely make out the car through the trees and brush. Not trying to go miles away. Nothing to prove, just camping. Spot's good enough for us. Have a small folding table for eating at and convenience. Set up the tent opposite the table with room in between them for a fire. Day goes nicely. Hike around a bit. Return to camp. Start up a fire for coziness and food. Making some dinner, but also breakfast cause I am scrambling eggs. We brought a cooler to store some lunch meat and the eggs. After dinner, discuss returning the cooler to the car, cause animals. We'd only seen some deer and squirrels around, but a bear could appear. Decide fuck it, don't want to walk through the woods. Leave the cooler next to the table. So the fire's in between us. Retire to the tent, get in a big sleeping bag for 2 people cause cozy. The fire dies down to glowing ash, plus we dug a lyle hole. The area is dirt around it. Sorry, Smokey. Don't have the rain fly on. It was a nice day, no rain predicted. Stars are pretty, and we fall asleep eventually. Wake up to the sound of something rustling near our camp. Trying to see what's out there, but the moon is hidden by clouds, and the ashes have almost lost their glow. Wake him up. Something's near us. Oh shit, .jpg. He wants to get out and go look. We don't know what it is, won't let him. We're super quiet and still. See something come out of the brush near the table. Can barely make out a shadow. Walks closer towards the cooler. I see what I think is a raccoon standing on 2 legs. About that height, I would say. Another one comes out. Damn raccoons trying to eat our food. About to get out and scare them off. He puts his arm out to stop me. Those aren't raccoons, Anon. Look closer. I can't make them out all the way. But the shadow looks like a little person. However tall a raccoon is long. Kinda stout or big-boned, as some might say. Just frozen with awe and confusion. Think I must be seeing things. But he sees it too. He pointed it out. No spooky fear, just the, what the hell is this kind? We just sit and watch the shadows. More of a silhouette, I guess, just didn't think of that word before. They rummage through the cooler for a bit. Don't want to go out because we don't know what they are. And don't want them to know we noticed them especially. They leave back into the woods. We both confirm what we just saw with each other. Very confused, very tired. We fall back asleep after some time just sitting up and looking around the camp. Wake up the next day. Look around the camp. No footprints or anything. Check the cooler. The buffalo knee is missing. My feels when some gnome people stole our freaking buffalo knee. We both agreed that they kind of looked like gnomes, or another small person thing that I don't know the names of. No pointy hat or anything, just like a really short, stocky person. We weren't scared or threatened, but we did move to another site, just because we didn't want to mess around with whatever those things were. Needless to say, we put the cooler in the car for the rest of the trip. Didn't see anything else crazy. We're not sure what we saw, but to our best description, they were like some weird lil gnomes. I hope they liked the bologna. We've talked about it with some of our close friends. Some think that they were raccoons still, but we've seen plenty of raccoons out camping, and they weren't like that at all. Maybe we ate bad eggs, Lowell, I don't know, but an odd experience, that's for sure.
I don't have anything super spooky, but I'll share the one I can remember. Be probably 9 or 10. Have a small wooden desk, stained dark with old varnish. Go to bed like normal. Wake up, and the first thing I see when I open my eyes, like my gaze was drawn to it before I was up, is a light spot where all the varnish is gone. Spot wasn't there the day before. Roof didn't leak. Windows were closed. I didn't spill anything. Spot looks like a 3/4 profile face, maybe a few inches across at its widest point. Get weirded out and scratch out the face because it gives me the creeps. Get yelled at when I get home for damaging my desk.
I have a weird one, although I'm not sure how spooky it is, but it happened when I was gardening last year. I grow tomatoes and peppers, and my niece sometimes comes by and helps, meaning she digs random holes. Pulling weeds. My niece is nearby. I hear her gasp. I glance over. She's got her face up to a hole. "What are you doing?" I ask. She can't talk much yet, but she says, "A boy! A boy!" pointing to the hole. Continue weeding because she's obviously playing around. A few minutes go by and I hear a jingling sound. She's got my keys in her hands. How the hell did she get those? She drops them into the hole and I walk over. You know you can't play with keys. I reach into the hole and there's nothing in there. I look into the hole and it's empty. My niece points to the hole and says, "A boy." Confused, so I just reach into the hole again. Someone grabs my hand for a moment. I freeze. It's a small hand, like a kid's. The hand lets go and I jump back, pulling my niece away from the hole. Take her inside and tell her mom not to let her outside. I walk back out to the hole. Cautiously look inside. My keys are sitting right there. It felt just like when a kid grabs your hand. Definitely felt human.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.